But yeah, like I think that's really like it's one of those things that since he did not speak to me as well during these 2 weeks, I had no clue what's going on.
Yeah,
Like
and
he
then I
was
went into
feeling
this like,
even
yeah,
remotely in any of these things, like he was feeling any of these things, and this like in a way this completely goes against what we spoke about in the
yeah,
first
because I
episode,
went in that
right?
weird shell where I was actively avoiding talking to people. Even my own mom, who I stay with, I just like spoke to her in monosyllables.
And we were so
Monosyllables.
adamant about speaking out. Why,
Yeah,
Z?
I just do that, and I think that's the weird part that I want to add and edit to what I said a month ago is that you will have a moment which might turn into a day, which might turn into a week where you just don't want to talk, and it's actually probably mentally, it'll mentally sicken you, and maybe even physically sicken you, and you just don't want to tell anyone what's happening, and
Yeah,
it's weird, but for a very limited and short time, you need to be there, and the just the trick is to not be there too long. Now that's the problem because
yeah,
no one knows what's too long, right? And you don't want to be in a dark place without people around you. I mean, you
yeah,
might think it feels good, but there has to be a point where you withdraw and go like, okay, you know what? I've been down in the dumps for a long time, and you have to pick yourself up because like everybody else will just attempt to figuratively pick you up, but literally you're the only one who can pick yourself up. So that turning point has to happen,
yeah.
and you know
But that
those
doesn't mean we can't lend a shoulder. Like,
yeah,
you know,
देख
and
ले निकाल के
this is
सीधा.
this is this is one of those things that like I agree with Z about the fact that you need to give yourself that space. You need to be in that zone as well, because it's equally as important to kind of give yourself that time and understand what's happening. But like the more you dive deeper into it, and this is something I think I spoke about in that article as well that I wrote for the
Mm-hmm.
first episode,
Correct.
that when I was in this state of depression, when I had like I didn't know what's happening, what I should do, what can I change, like it was one of those things where it felt like I'm just in deep waters, and I'm just like going deeper and deeper each and every day, not knowing where to go, how to swim up again, right? Like it was one of those situations. And getting that getting some things out where, like it doesn't have to be right as things are happening. You don't have to like speak out and talk about the problem that you're having like as and when it's happening. But I think just having a conversation with not even about the problem, just having a conversation with people can make the biggest of changes. Because like I think especially after having this whole 1 hour chat with you yesterday, I feel like I can already see like a little bit or hear like a little bit of more of a livelihood in your voice, rather than
Yeah,
like
man.
that whole distraught sounding voice that I heard yesterday. Like
Yeah,
it
you
wasn't
just
it wasn't the
become
best.
disappointed and you're like, fuck, everything sucks. And I just,
But and I know that like just having a chat doesn't like change the world. It doesn't like change your mindset, but like I mean it can help lighten it. I don't know if it did for you. Like you're the one who can tell me about that. um but
honestly,
like
it felt good because I spoke about it when I wanted to. Like,
yeah,
but if like, if I would have forced myself to, maybe it would have not felt very authentic.
yeah,
But like, it came after a couple of days of not talking, so I felt I think it felt automatically better. And I think that's key, identifying the moment when you are okay to open up, because sometimes I don't know, man. There are people who immediately want to talk about what happens to them, and then there are those who want to sort of build up an archive of things to talk about. You just have to know what kind of person you are, but you
yeah.
have to be neither of those. You can't be someone who just never talks about it, because then you'll just end up with some sort of weird public outcry and just end up just pelting people around you with stones, and that will be ugly. So you don't want to get there to that point.
Like I think the main thing is, if you're getting to that point as well, right? Maybe it's that time of self realization where one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is maybe get professional help. at the end of the day. I don't know, like if that might help you, Z.
Yeah.
I think professional, especially like with thoughts that if it's not going away and it's one of those things that you don't understand how you can fight. One of the biggest things is like genuinely going to a good professional more than anything else and trying to understand what it is that you're going through. Maybe talking through with them, they have the
Actually,
better
you're right.
idea, right?
You are right,
Um,
but I don't know, for a lot of people listening to this, if you can relate with it. I'm at that weird space where there is no income, and even though I want to go to a therapist, the whole idea of affording a therapist is something I don't even want to think about. And I'm sure a lot of people out there who've been going to therapists, or who want to start going, probably have lost their jobs. They don't know how they can afford, because a therapist is a professional and they've put in years in their training. So I don't expect them to conduct sessions free of cost.
yeah,
There's obviously
yeah,
a charge to it, because they also need to run their family. And I'm sure if you are a great therapist, you have your own therapist who you go and talk to. So you have that expense too. But for a lot of people who can't afford therapists, this is a tough space. And
but do you
it's
think there
okay.
are places people can go to that would have like cheaper rates, or like just as a starter they can find therapists that
So
would help them for
Um, you know what? I
cheaper
think we
rates?
we we need to we have this Excel sheet that we like, a public Excel sheet, and we'll try to
Yeah,
find out therapists that have been known to be good, and don't charge as much, or are charging less in these times, because
yeah,
sessions are virtual. We'll put that up. But at the same time, we're trying to start this thing where we're talking about our own experience in a nutshell,
yeah,
and
yeah.
reading that. Our assumption, our hypothesis is that people will feel better when they read about what we went through and what helped us. So
I
if
think
we,
that's the biggest thing we can do as a community, right?
yeah, correct.
Like help each other out. Even if we
True.
can't, and like you said, like even if we can't pay for a lot of therapy right now, which if you can, we do recommend, like at times like this it does always help. But if you don't find, if you think you don't have the means for it, always like like we said, like start small. Maybe start having that chat with and trying to understand yourself with the help of your family, if not your family, your friends. And um like Z is saying, like he went into his own shell for 2 weeks. I
Hmm.
think it might have helped you. Like again, it did. I think to an extent, it felt good for you as well, right? Being with yourself
Yeah,
and
dude, don't get
being
me wrong. I'm
within
still there
yourself.
in that shell. I mean, it
Yeah,
feels weird. It feels weird, but I want to be there. And I don't know, have any way to
yeah,
explain that to the logical, rational person of, why would you want to stay in a place which
yeah.
is making yourself feel worse? But I don't know, man. Like, somehow I know I have time and I can do stuff. I can be productive, but at the same time, I am not doing anything to be productive, and kind of, probably in a weird way, feeding off that. And I don't know how to solve that, uh,
So
but I
I
know,
think neither can I really give anything or say anything
yeah,
that would help you solve that. But like all I can do is like, hey, whenever you need it, like if you want to do something, work or something, need help with something, that you always have the sheeples with you, like not only me but like everybody who listens and all your friends. And like they're always there to like you know be there to help you out with whatever you might feel like you want to do at that point. And it might be like making something creative, it might be
yeah,
making a tune that you sometimes do work on your guitar. And just saying, Sheeples, he does some really fun beatboxing. I've not heard him do it in a while, which I think
yeah.
maybe we should hear you do it once
My beatboxing
sometime
spirit
soon.
animal is down in the low.
Yeah, but like you know what, like I would love to hear you get back to it one of these days. Whenever you feel comfortable with it.
Hmm.
Uh, but we can do something about that on a podcast or something.
Yeah,
But honestly, like I think the biggest thing I from my side I can do is like lend you a shoulder to help reduce the burden that you are feeling. I don't know how much I can help with that, and I don't know if it can be of any help at the end of the day. But if it is, then I'm like know that we as the sheeples, everybody is always there. And
thank you, Sheeple. That feels nice. That feels nice. Just having that offer on the table. I might not take it up, but knowing that that offer is there on the table is a good feeling.
Yeah, like just the fact that we can offer it, right? Like again, like I said, like we not having professional help at times, like we also don't know what exactly is the problem, and I can't be like a diagnosis, I can't give you a diagnosis and analysis about like, oh, this is what you're suffering through, or this is what's happening. Like maybe you aren't, like maybe you need this right now for yourself, right? You never know. Like you said, you like being in that shell at the moment, and
Yeah.
you don't know how to get out of it, but like you don't even want to get out of it at the moment anyway.